So today I have kind of a build video, kind of a review video. I'm honestly kind of trying to move out of doing review videos because I don't really like doing them, so I thought, why not take the thing I'm supposed to review and build something with it, so you know that there's something for everyone here. So that's what I'm gonna do. And what fun is a 3D printer if you don't build something with the 3D printer, you know? So my back is gonna like die. Today I'm gonna be talking about the FLSUN Super Racer. Now they sent me this a hot minute ago, and I obviously hadn't gotten around to reviewing it until now. They've been very patient, but this is one worth reviewing because unlike some of the others, I've actually been using it a good bit recently and can speak more from experience rather than just like unboxing it, you know? So there she is over there, big tower, very tall, much wow. There's something on it, and that something is what we're making. I'm kind of filming this intro after I've made part of it, but if you saw my last video, we made Boba Fett's helmet, and I thought, you know, we made his helmet, why don't we make something else? I'm kind of on a Star Wars kick right now. So we're gonna be making Boba Fett's Gaffi staff. And because I totally didn't already do it at all, not only are we going to be making it, but we're going to be printing the entire staff on that one single printer in under 24 hours. So I'm going to show you the build, and then we're going to talk about the printer itself more towards the end of the video. So depending on what you're here for, there you go. So starting off, I decided to go with Big Fred Customs Files over on Etsy. I'll have links to all his stuff down in the description below. He actually also reached out and said he'd love to give all you guys a discount. So if you're interested in that, also check the description. But these are his Gaffi staff files. I think there's a version 2 out now. Now, before you get mad, okay, I know I said we're gonna be printing the entire staff on the printer, but okay, look at this piece. You really think this is the best thing to FDM print? No, okay? If you want to sand this, then I don't want to meet you. So this is the one thing I resin printed, okay? No matter how good of a FDM printer the FLSUN may be, I really did not want to have to sand that. So this is resin printed, however, the rest of it is going to be printed on the FLSUN. And by is going to be printed, I mean I already printed it and I'm recording this now, so here you go. There's holes through the middle to put like a metal rod, you know, to strengthen it up, because this resin piece also is, I printed it solid. Maybe that's stupid, but like when you're swinging it, it's going to feel heftier. But also it could break, so I don't know. But anyway, we got it all set up. I think everything printed at 15% infill, 2 walls. And I know I said I was gonna talk about the printer at the end, but it is known for being fast. It's a Delta printer. That's mainly what they're made for. And I have to say, the quality this thing puts out for how fast it was moving, which by the way was 150 millimeters per second, was great, and I'll show you that. But we got her all printed out, and the entire thing only took 19 hours. Pretty cool. We printed it out of Polyterra PLA, which also is the same material I printed this Ronin sword out of. Ignore the fact that it's broken. There, look, oh, it's beautiful. You can't see that. So let me show you the end result. All right, this was all printed at 0.2 millimeter layer height. I mean, there's not a layer line in sight. The most layer lines I see are on this piece once it got further to the top, but that's pretty much it. And then obviously some once it got to the top of this piece, it was flattening out a little bit. But yeah, it came out really great. I'm super excited to make this. It's gonna be good. That came out so clean. Alright, so you know the drill. Time to sand down the raw plastic. Then we'll prime it, sand that down, and we'll just do that over and over again until it's smooth. You know you're running out of space when you have a giant Craftsman toolbox in the middle of your living room. Alright, so, your girl got a little cocky, and, I put the whole thing together, you know, got the metal rod through the middle of the staff, and the other metal rod through the top of the staff, and despite how top heavy it is, it, like, stays really well. So, you know, I was swinging it around like you do, and, I broke it. The reason it broke is because I have one metal rod through this portion and another shorter metal rod through this portion. I didn't have one long enough, so obviously I used 2, and obviously the point of where it broke is where the metal rods were separated. So the plastic was not strong enough to hold the weight of this, and I'm not surprised at all, because this is you could really hurt somebody with this. So what I did instead was I just modeled in SolidWorks real quick a little connector piece. I printed it with like 100% infill out of Polymaker's Polymax PLA, so like a pretty hefty, pretty strong PLA. It's what my entire Heartbreaker suit is made out of, so it should fit there. and this piece should fit there, and it definitely holds a lot better. So we're gonna go ahead and glue this in place, sand out some of these ridges right here where we connected parts, and then we'll paint it, I guess. All right, so as far as paints go, it's already primed. So I haven't glued the bottom portion of the staff to the top portion of the staff just because they're two different colors and it's just kind of easier to go ahead and paint it and then combine them. So for the metal portion of it, I have a couple different Rust-Oleum paints. If this one is too light, I'll dust it over with this one. I have this darker brown and then this slightly lighter brown. We'll try to use those. Yeah, that's about it. So let's do it, I guess. Alright, so it is done. I know I kind of fast forwarded a lot through the sanding and painting processes, but honestly, it's really no different from what I normally do, but I thought I'd show you. This is the final result. It is quite large, okay? And I can hold it now and it won't snap in half like it did before. Getting a closer look. I'm pretty happy with how the fins turned out. Right here, I did have to go back and glue them in place a little bit better because, again, I dropped it like a dummy. I dropped it in this position and the fins just kind of went. So those are pretty secure in there now. I used, I think, like a nickel colored Rust-Oleum paint, whichever the first one was I showed on camera was this color, and it turned out great. I honestly didn't put any clear coat or anything on it. I just really liked the way it looked, kind of a light gunmetal kind of feel. And then this was that extra part I printed to join the two broken pieces together. I kind of just painted it brown to blend in with the rest of the staff. Painted these darker parts with that matte brown and these lighter parts with the gloss. And boy, am I really freaking glad that we resin printed this piece, because look at that. It came out really clean. I'm pretty happy with how the seams turned out, especially on this end of the staff. You can't really tell where certain pieces connected. It is pretty solid up top though, but yet I can still hold it back here. I'm really nervous doing this right now. Detail came out really nice along the handle. I'm trying my darnest to get it all in frame to show y'all, but it's pretty long. I'm 5'10". And it comes up to about my nose. What sound do they make? They go hoo 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 hoo. Here's some blackmail for you. All right. Now let's talk about the FLSUN printer. Basically, just to summarize at the beginning, this is a printer that I've been using for quite a while. It's not something I just unboxed. And since I've had this printer for a long time, I've had time to develop an opinion on it. And unbelievably, I can't find too much wrong with it. So with that as a preface, I'll go into a little bit more detail. First, the assembly. A lot of printers take 10 years to put together, and there's always one thing during the assembly process that just bugs the living heck out of you. For me, there's always at least been one thing. But with this printer, assembly was easy and the instructions were clear. It did take a little while because it is a pretty hefty printer and it was just me putting it together, but the instructions were clear and it wasn't hard and it wasn't confusing. Now, auto leveling, when I was first getting into it, I was kind of concerned about it because it seems like every printer that has an auto leveling function just doesn't do it right. You end up troubleshooting it more than you end up using it, or you end up using a manual leveling function if they have that instead. FLSUN included this separate attachment that kind of attaches onto the nozzle, clips in magnetically, and then you hit auto level and it kind of just does its thing. And the instructions lay this out step by step, but after it's done doing that, it'll tell you exactly how to use a piece of paper and adjust the Z height. And I'm telling you, if you follow the instructions step by step, it works. I've tested it out multiple times, even though I didn't really need to, because once you do it once, you pretty much don't have to do it again unless you touch a bunch of stuff on the printer. And this is the first time I can actually say it works every time. The best auto leveling I've seen on a printer, hands down. Some of the other features on this printer include auto zoom function, a filament runout sensor, and the option to feed in or feed out filament. And those typically come pretty standard now. Now talking about speed, because people typically buy deltas for the speed, and it definitely delivers. I was printing the entire staff at 150 millimeters per second and then later tested it out at 200 millimeters per second. And again, was it necessarily moving at that speed the entire time? No printer really will, but it was able to perform, and I had no problems with the quality of the print, as I showed you guys earlier. And like I said, it was able to print that entire staff in like 19 hours. They claim it is a silent printer. The fans aren't necessarily loud. The only sounds you end up really hearing are the quick spurts when the nozzle moves back and forth between different areas. And here's an example of that. So it doesn't bother me. Then again, I have it in a separate closed room. So yeah, not necessarily completely silent, but I mean, it's not screaming at you. Now, all those sound like good things, great things, and honestly, yeah, it's a good printer. There's only really one thing that bothers me, and it doesn't have anything to do with poor functionality of the printer. It's more on the design side, and it's the fact that the printer itself is pretty darn big, yet the actual print volume is 260 by 260 millimeters with a height of 330 millimeters. For tall Delta printers, people typically look at it and be like, wow, I bet I could print something pretty tall on that. And it's kind of the way it is with Deltas. When you look at a Delta printer, you look at it and say, wow, look at all the space, I could print something huge. But in reality, those arms holding the hot end take up half the height of the printer. So just be wary that even though this printer looks huge, it can only print at about half that height, which kind of sucks, but that's really the only thing that was kind of disappointing to me, but it is just kind of the way it is. Overall, it's been very reliable, seeing as that the instructions are clear, it works right out of the box, and I didn't have to spend 10 years troubleshooting anything. I'd say it'd be a great beginner 3D printer. Price point is around $500, so kind of take that as you will. You don't have to troubleshoot a lot. The quality comes out great. You can print super fast. It is a smaller build volume with that larger printer size. So it may be worth it to you, may not. I don't know. Either way, those are my thoughts. All right, so those are my thoughts on the printer. If that's what you came here for. Hopefully that was helpful to you. Now, really quickly before I get to the end of the video, I have a very special message for you from today's sponsor. All right, so I'm really excited about this video sponsor just because of how fitting it is for this channel. But this video is sponsored by Micro Center. So if you're a maker like me, you've probably already heard of Micro Center, but if you haven't, I'm gonna give you the rundown. Micro Center is the place to go for all your DIY tech projects. For example, almost everything you need to go from nothing to a full Iron Man suit pretty much exists at Micro Center. 3D printers, filament, computers. They've got Arduinos, wires, LEDs, and just so much more. And for someone like me who both enjoys building things and content creation, where I'm constantly needing recording equipment, it is the best place to shop. And it's not just an online store either. Micro Center has locations across the country if you want to shop in person, and their associates are more than happy to help. And if you do want to talk shop, project ideas, etc., be sure to check out the online Micro Center community that'll be linked in the description. Additionally, if you're a new Micro Center customer, you can head over to one of their stores right now and get a free 128 gigabyte flash drive and micro SD card, and links to that offer will be in the description as well. So thank you, Micro Center, for sponsoring this video. And to all the makers, tinkers, and builders out there, be sure to go check out your local Micro Center or check them out online. I'm gonna put a dent in the arc reactor. All right, now I'll end the video. If you got to the end, you get a gold star. I feel like holding this like this, if I drop it, like I'm actually going to severely injure myself. Thank you for watching. Thank you to my patrons for your support, and more specifically, my master patrons. I really appreciate you guys. And if you are interested in seeing some behind the scenes work, or maybe seeing some of my props before I post them on YouTube, be sure to go check out my Patreon. Links to that will be in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.